I'm Gina Sunderland. I am the Food and Consumer Relations Specialist, dietitian with Manitoba Chicken Producers, and I'm joined here by my son.
Hi, I'm Joel.
And today we are going to show you a couple awesome ways to roast whole chicken. And happy Manitoba Day, and a big thanks to all of our wonderful Manitoba chicken farmers that raise chicken year-round, 12 months of the year, so we can have access to delicious local chicken that is so healthy for us, so easy to prepare, so many things you can do with it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go over a couple little food safety tips in the kitchen before you even start cooking. So the first thing you want to always do,
So you always want to wash your hands with warm soapy water before you do any cooking and after you've touched any raw meat or poultry. And for cutting any of your meat and poultry, you should always use a plastic cutting board. You can just throw it in the dishwasher and it's really easy to clean. And then for other things like vegetables and fruit, you can use a wooden cutting board.
yeah, so we always like to have at least 2 cutting boards in our kitchen. And if you don't have a dishwasher,
Yeah, it's just super easy to clean with soap and water.
yeah, warm water, plenty of soap, give it a good washing. And you should always wash your hands and your cutting boards, but you shouldn't wash your chicken. So that's another really important point. For those of you that do have chickens in your deep freeze, the best way to defrost them, and great news is you can keep whole frozen chicken in your deep freeze for 12 months. So it's a great item to stock up on. I always say if you're gonna roast 1 chicken, you might as well roast 2. So when you look at the roast chicken with lemons recipe, you're gonna see it calls for 2 chickens because there's a ton of great things you can do with leftover chicken. So best way to defrost chicken is in the fridge overnight in a container or a pan with edges so that the juices do not leak anywhere else in the fridge. And I like to put it on the lower shelf in the fridge. Once that chicken is defrosted overnight, it's ready to be seasoned. You do not have to rinse your chicken. And I don't know if anyone knows why, but you don't want to spread germs to anywhere else in the kitchen. You don't want to contaminate any other surfaces. The best way to actually know that your chicken is cooked and it's safe to eat
is to use a meat thermometer.
Exactly.
And you want to put it into the thickest part of the meat. So on a roast chicken, that would be the breast meat. Just right into the breast meat, and it should come up to 180 degrees Fahrenheit.
Exactly, and that is the best way to know that your chicken is cooked properly. We like to say that that is actually our favorite kitchen tool, a meat thermometer. It gives you that reassurance and you know. And when that chicken comes out of the oven and it is 180, you know it's cooked, you don't want to slice it right away. There's a little trick Joel's going to show you.
Yeah, you want to tint it with some tin foil just to hold the juices in. Just cover it up.
Exactly.
Keep the heat in, and it makes the chicken really moist.
Yeah, all those juices go right back into that chicken, and you are guaranteed juicy, tender chicken every time. And you know what? It doesn't take anything fancy to roast a chicken. You can use anything with an edge. So this is, Joel's just going to show you a couple different containers.
Yeah, you can use a glass dish like this, or a metal roasting pan.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll put the lid on and hold in a lot of those juice. So chicken goes in the oven at about 375 degrees. This is a 3-pound chicken, and it should roast for about 75 to 90 minutes. So it doesn't take an awfully long time. So one of the easiest ways to prepare roast chicken is just to simply
just use some of your favorite seasonings.
Yeah.
So this is Manitoba chicken spice from Spice World.
Yeah.
So we'll just cover the whole chicken.
Yeah. And I'm just helping Joel here. Can kind of be a 2-person job. Yep. There you go. Okay, and so some of our other favorite spices include...
So we have some oregano.
Excellent, excellent. You want to get a little bit right into that cavity too? Great. Awesome. Yeah.
And we have some sage.
Yeah, love the smell of sage when a chicken's roasting. Just a little sprinkle over. You can use your hand to rub it and get a nice even coating.
And just some black pepper.
Exactly.
You can really use any herbs that you want. Anything tastes great on chicken.
So true, so versatile. So whatever you have in your spice rack, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this chicken is just going to go straight into the oven at about 375 degrees. Of course, you wash your hands thoroughly, and because we're doing this, I'm just using a wet, moistened cloth. There you go, perfect. Hour and a half later, you're going to have a delicious chicken. The house will smell great. Okay, so now onto our roast chicken with lemons. We love this recipe, chicken and lemons, great combination. So the first thing you do with this recipe is you make something called an herbed butter. And I actually like to make extra of this. It freezes great. You can freeze it in little cubes and you can use it on vegetables, you can use it on bread, and of course it's perfect on chicken. All right, so we're gonna start with half a cup of butter, and this is actually the amount you would do for 2 whole chickens. And then I am going to get Joel to mix this up for me. Add half a teaspoon of salt. Thanks, Joel. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And you can use 2 tablespoons of your favorite fresh herbs. So as we start getting those herbs coming in our garden, this is just gonna be a divine recipe. I had a little bit of fresh oregano, so I chopped up about a tablespoon of that, and then I added some dried herbs. I had some parsley, I had some rosemary, basil, and that's my 2 tablespoons of herbs. There we go. So it just comes together really nicely. 1 green onion, 1 or 2. I like the flavor of onion. And then a couple cloves of chopped garlic. Oh. Awesome. Oh, Joel, that smells really good. That is looking good too. Excellent, excellent. This is delicious. So there we have our herbed butter. And what we're going to do is we're going to spread it all over the chicken. So one of the things that you can do with this herb butter is just lift the skin on your chicken right where the breast is, and you can tuck a little bit of that herb butter right under the skin, and that is going to really ensure a nice moist chicken breast. And then we're just going to spread that butter all over that chicken. Do you want to give me a hand, Joel?
Yep.
You got your spoon or spatula, whatever you want to do there. Awesome. And the nice thing about this recipe is you can roast this chicken when it's got this beautiful herb butter all over it at 400 degrees. So it roasts pretty quick. And again, the best way to know if it's done is to use your meat thermometer. And so you can just see how nicely this spread. And one of the things you want to do with a roast chicken is you actually want to take it out of the fridge and let it come up to temperature. So take it out of the fridge for about 30 minutes before you're going to put it in the oven. And then this butter will stick so nicely. And of course, this wouldn't be roast chicken with lemons without our lemons. All right, so I'm just going to hold this for Joel, and he's going to tuck a few of those lemons right into the cavity.
Put those right inside.
Thanks, Joel. Awesome. So we've cut up 2 whole lemons. Delicious flavor when you put them inside, and then what you do with the rest of these lemons is you just sort of scatter them all over your roasting pan. And they caramelize, they're delicious, and when it comes out of the oven, you just squeeze that lemon all over your chicken. It's so good. And I want to show you this too. So these are onions, and a lot of times people will roast chicken on a rack, and you can do that, but the onions in this recipe become the rack. So you have those large, thick slices of onion that you put right under the chicken, and that becomes the rack that the chicken is roasted on. And you can see our finished chicken here. Those onions are caramelized, the lemons are caramelized, and it's just delicious to serve your whole roast chicken that way. So I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. I have a little bit of a bonus here. I want to talk to you about how you can make stock. And I also want to mention that we have 2 $50 grocery gift cards for anyone that shares a comment, stays tuned in for our whole Facebook Live, or shares their favorite way to roast chicken with us. And we will be direct messaging you from a random draw at the end of our event this evening. So we've got this wonderful roast chicken with lemons. This is what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. Now, after you've thoroughly enjoyed your roast chicken, there are so many great things you can do with the leftovers. So what are some of your favorite things that you like to do, Joel?
I really like making chicken sandwiches. It's really easy. They taste great.
Yeah, we've also made wraps and
Yeah.
chicken Caesar salad.
Or chicken salad's really good too.
Yeah, tons of good things you can do. A roast chicken goes a long way. And after you have all that meat off the bones, don't get rid of the bones, because the bones make delicious chicken stock. So all you need is a large pot with a lid, and it is just so easy. You put your chicken bones in the pot, cover them with water, add some celery, a couple bay leaves, peppercorns, an onion, and some carrots, and boil that for about 2.5 hours. Bring it up to a good boil. Turn the heat down, put the lid on your pot, and let it simmer, and you will have the most delicious, nutritious chicken stock. So I really want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening to our Facebook Live, and I would really welcome anyone's questions at this time.
Amber is asking, is there a reason for keeping the legs tied?
It really does help hold the lemons in this recipe. You can tie the legs, you don't have to tie the legs. It's gonna turn out perfect either way. If you do have kitchen string, it's just an easy little step to tie the legs.
Tita would like to know any of your favorite recipes to use the leftover lemon chicken for.
Oh my goodness, well we have many recipes on manitobachicken.ca for using leftover chicken. We've got some delicious toast recipes. We've got a brand new chicken and hummus toast, an open face brie cheese sandwich melt. We've got some pizzas that use cooked chicken, and we've got this fabulous new salad. It's a chicken and lentil salad, so that's a really awesome one. And there's some other great salads too that use leftover roast chicken, but really, you know, the sky is the limit. There's so many things that you can do with roast chicken that's leftover. So that's why I like to recommend, if you're gonna roast one, you might as well roast two. Thanks for the great question.
And then Erica would like to know, how long can you keep the leftovers in the fridge?
Oh, that's a perfect question. So cooked chicken that's leftover can be kept in the fridge for up to 3 days. And when you bring chicken home from the store and you put it in your fridge, you can keep it in the fridge for about 3 days. And always check that date, the use by date, the best use by date. Another super really good trick to keep in mind is that after you've cooked chicken, you can freeze it. And I like to freeze chicken in about 1 cup portions to use in a lot of recipes. I thought of another favorite one. It's our tropical chicken taquitos. I always freeze chicken in just the right quantities to whip those up. So that's another super way to use cooked chicken. Yeah, so do we have any other questions? No? Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening. And I really want to thank all of our Manitoba chicken farmers. We have 123 farmers across Manitoba that raise nutritious chicken for us year-round. 97% of our farms are family-owned and operated. And I just feel like we are so privileged, and being Manitoba Day today is just a super opportunity to thank all of our farmers that have continued to provide us with this wonderful, nutritious, protein-rich chicken year-round and through these difficult times. So thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been such a pleasure to share these great recipes with you. Thanks everyone. Take care. Be well.